it right here, right now. Who cares about tomorrow? So essentially what you get at the end is you get two multi-millionaires, right? Think about this. Think about every person in this room right now. If I guaranteed you all $37 million. Guaranteed. I guarantee you $37 million this year. Guess what you're going to do? Not much. Not much. Are you going to bust every day? Your alarm's going to go off in the morning and you're like, I gotta go to class. Class where I got $37 million. Right? Who's going to class if they got $37 million? Nobody's going to class. You know what happens when you get $37 million and you're a fighter? I don't want to get punched in the face. I got $37 million, man. I'm not getting punched in the face. It's ridiculous. We incentivize that. You get money to show, and you get money to win.
And ran from each other, no one would watch, just as Dana said. It is in Dana's interest to incentivize combat, and specifically combat that draws the eyeballs of viewers. So, Dana's right, but his reasoning has another major flaw in it. Why not constantly increase fighter pay to increase the incentive to fight? Let's logically break down the two halves of the UFC contract. Paying a fighter to show up can give the fighter an incentive to compete in a fight, even if the skill differences are imbalanced. Think of it like a fighter's minimum wage. It pays for training costs and living expenses. Remember all the way back to Megan Anderson versus Amanda Nunes. Amanda was a massive favorite to win that fight. Also, note who is Megan Anderson's coach. By Dana's logic, Megan needs a bag of cash to even show up for that meeting. So that makes logical sense, right? But Dana is also correct on another point. It's not just showing up. It's about committing to violence. He needs that to actually sell a product. So the win bonus functions as an incentive to actively compete at the expense of your opponent. By setting the two fighters' win bonus incentives in opposition, Dana has created a clear conflict that leads to exciting fights where both opponents are fighting to starve the other of that win bonus. I think this makes completely logical sense. But this is psychology 101 level understanding of incentives. And hey, I have a degree in psychology and neuroscience. I think I am the perfect person to critique his logic. So with our incentive structure fully outlined, we need to have a cognitive psychology discussion on how to maximally incentivize violence that the UFC wants. Currently, Dana and the UFC seem set on tying show and win bonuses at a 1-to-1 ratio. I think that's incredibly ineffective by Dana's own logic. The UFC is artificially kneecapping itself, as we will come to see. To explain simply, the UFC is putting unneeded pressure on itself to keep win bonuses low in order to not correspondingly raise the show bonus. Based on Dana's Stanford speech, we can assume he is against show bonuses on principle. But he does recognize that it is necessary in the business of fighting. The biggest issue in my eyes is the insistence on artificially limiting his greatest violence incentive leverage. Dana's hyper-focus on what we could term the laziness incentive, which is just money paid that is not in service of completion of work, is easily his Achilles heel in this argument. Decoupling show and win bonuses would allow them to set a sort of artificial maximum show bonus. That, again, should function sort of like a minimum wage. They can then adjust the levers of win bonuses to incentivize fighters to compete in certain ways. He can raise the win bonus ever higher to get fighters to go to
chicken skin
of competition. It's pretty morbid when you think about it that way, but hey, this is the fight business, that's the way it is. But Dana has never adjusted that ratio as a common form of practice based on all available reporting. Why? I genuinely have no idea. Please answer me, Dana. I am trying my best to not strawman you here. So look, here's a free piece of advice from me. Sign contracts, set show bonuses, and negotiate win bonuses on an individual fight basis. In economic terms, the natural course of market pressure, assuming the UFC operates a market economy, would progress as follows. First, as revenue grows, fighters' contracts should naturally increase, ideally at the rate of increased revenue generation by the UFC, but they haven't. Secondly, if the reasoning for the contract structure is incentive, the UFC should not only be offering larger and larger purses to fighters,